Hey, hi Samantha. Good afternoon. Uh, let's let's wait a couple of minutes. So before we start, just to let others join as well. So, yeah, wait uh, one more minute. Hey, hi Varsha. Good afternoon. Hi Abhinav. I just let's just wait a couple of more minutes just to before we get started. Just
Sure.
okay. Good afternoon, Shreya. So, so looks like it's going to be an exclusive webinar for all of you guys. so, so let's get started. So before, yeah. Uh, so before I start, let me give a brief introduction about myself. So my name is Venkatesh, and I have been working in cloud past 5 years, and I am certified Google Cloud Architect as well. So so basically, this webinar is going to be an awareness about cloud computing and how how new young generation can take advantage of cloud as their promising career choice. Okay, so I think we have many more people joining in. So good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for joining on Saturday. I know it's a day that normally you wouldn't want to miss, but thank you for joining again. I really appreciate your time. So so let's get started. So before I even start with cloud computing, because I know the word is very heavy word for you guys, because when I was in my computer engineering, I had no idea about what cloud computing is. But I think you are fortunate enough to have the awareness sessions and webinars on the cloud computing. So let me before we jump onto the cloud computing, let me take you a few years back before there were no cloud, or it was the early beginning of cloud. So probably you might in the era of 90s, would say, where I might you might have not been born that time, but just to give an idea how the cloud had changed our lives. So I just wanted to take you back to the few years before, where we used to listen to music in recording tapes, and that was 90s, where we have to record all of the songs in in a cassette, and we used to then record those songs and play it whenever we needed. But if looking at back, you might think of how dumb was that, because if a new song is released, you might need to download or record that song in cassette and then listen again. But moving few years again ahead of the after 2000s, when I think when there was a evolution of iPods and iPod, different versions of iPod which Apple released. Even though those devices are just nothing like just a music in the hardware. So we used to just scroll through the list of songs in memory cards. But today, you might not want to do that, because all of your whole iPod is just in one music player app. Maybe your Savan, Geo Savan, or Ghana, whatever the apps are. You know, so all of those songs, you have access to millions of songs just with one click of download, and you don't need to spend a lot of memory to store all of these songs. One more example you might have experienced, which nowadays you won't see anywhere, when in 2000s, when we used to watch movies like Koi Mil Gaya, or because I watched Koi Mil Gaya on DVD, so I remember that movie. But now these are absolute. Why? Because nobody wants to keep an hardware where you will be storing something and carrying out that hardware anyway with you, right? Because you have access to all the movies or all the songs, just one click, with one click only. And all that happens because of just one thing, that is cloud. Even though you might not experience, but whatever we are using in our day-to-day life is all connected to cloud. So we right now I'm using the word cloud, but you might not know what cloud is. Just bear with me for you understanding. If I ask you where your songs are stored, where do you upload and download, you just say internet. But for now, you can consider internet as a cloud. So what changes you think when cloud computing is, that with the advent of the cloud computing? But you might experience these changes, but you might not be sure about that this is the change that cloud computing has brought into our life. So the very first example of that change is social media, right? Even for example, let's say we have all of this social media and many more other applications, but even though there are billions of users, billions of current active users, have you ever thought whenever you upload an image or a video, have you ever thought how much size of this video is, how much size of this image is? Do you ever worry that this is going to take my storage? I don't have to store this in my phone. No, right? Because you know that we don't even think whenever we upload the videos and images. And apart from that as well, whenever we upload, we have access to those images, videos from any devices. Even if we log into our browser, even we will have access to those images and videos. How is that possible? You can just take a break and think about how is this possible. You might say that we just upload it to internet and download back it from internet. But what's the internet exactly? Is it just like a some cloud in the weather? It's not like that, right? So just we'll take one more example to see how cloud has changed our lives. So we use many devices in our life, right? We use mobile phones, we use iPads or tablets, we use laptops, even we use monitors, right? But even if we have the different devices, we access the same data when we open our Gmail or we open our any application which works on internet, right? So how does that happen? Is the data stored on devices? No, because data is stored somewhere that's that's all of the devices are connected to, and that data is stored in cloud. So we have seen enough examples of cloud. We are saying this is all because of cloud, or this is all because of cloud computing. But what is exactly the cloud computing is? What is exactly? Because when uh, when we think of cloud as a internet, but it's not just the internet itself, right? The internet is a part of cloud computing. So just to just to give a clear definition, in the simplest terms, cloud computing means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet. This is the simplest definition, abstracting all of the technical terms behind this definition. So you might have done first part where storing and accessing data over the internet. So this is what we do on a day-to-day basis, where when we upload something, when we download, or when we send message to someone. So this is what we do. But the second part, programs over the internet, this is something you might have done or you do it on a day-to-day basis, but you are not exactly sure. This is called as programs over the internet. So you're already playing games like PUBG. You might be a uh, I forgot those phrase. It's like a winner winner chicken dinner chicken, something like that. And so all those games are nothing but the programs running over the internet. And all of this ecosystem, right now if you want to play a game with multiplayer support, you just need one mobile with an internet access. But back before the cloud, we were using handset and hardwares to play a multiplayer game, right? But if cloud computing is all about just applications, social media, and you know actually playing games, why many companies are using cloud? Is it because they are just using cloud to uh, upload stuff on social media or create the games? No, it's not like that. Even though companies use facebook's Facebook, Instagram, just to market or just to advertise there, but it's not like they are that is the reason why they are moving to cloud. So cloud is much more than just the applications are part of the cloud services, where it is called as software as a service. But if we look at the why companies are moving to cloud, is this big reason. If you see this ugly image, it's not ugly, it's actually looks like that, but it's much more organized in data centers. So back before the advent of cloud, anyone, any internet business who wants to start their operations in or wants to start the business on internet, they first need to invest a lot of money in storage devices and servers. They need to set up their infrastructure before even they start their businesses. You could think of that situation where you don't have even started your business, you don't have a zero, you have a $0 profit, but you are investing a lot of amount in infrastructure, and still you either you have business or you don't have business. You need to manage all those data centers, all those servers, and cost to even operate average size of data center ranges from $10 million to 25 millions of dollars. Can you think any newcomer or any new businessman can invest this amount of money before even starting their business? No, right? But there are some situations like so is there a better way to run the internet company? So back then, when businessmen don't wanted to invest a huge amount of money in infrastructure, and there was second side of companies where companies like Amazon, companies like Microsoft, companies like Google already have set up their infrastructure with future scope. So they had some idle infrastructure which they kept just to handle the future load, which were sitting idle there. And here some of the businessmen who were looking to start a internet company, but just they couldn't start it because of huge investment required to just set up the managed data centers. So some companies found opportunities in this area because there was a people who were looking for infrastructure but don't had money to invest a lot, and the other side companies where they already have the infrastructure sitting idle, no use of resources. So that's when companies like Amazon in 2006, they Amazon literally picked up the concept of renting a home. Take for example, let's say you have a big house where you have 6 rooms and you probably use only 3 rooms. What do you do normally with the 3 rooms for productivity or for just to manage the take advantage of those idle rooms? You give them on rent, right? So that same concept Amazon started using, and they started giving their infrastructure on rent, and that is called as infrastructure as a service, one part of cloud computing. And this infrastructure is nothing but the CPUs, the storage, and the whatever components you look at in your laptop on a day-to-day basis. All those components are tied up together and given on rent, just with the help of one browser. Amazing, right? Isn't it amazing? That was the problem that is being solved by Amazon. And it's not just Amazon who was first in the cloud computing. Before Amazon, Salesforce was there, but the timing was perfect for the Amazon. And following Amazon, there are multiple bigger giants who had set up their data centers already and wanted to set up their, take advantage of their idle infrastructure. So they followed Amazon, and then in 2008, Google came with their infrastructure. Then Microsoft came in. Then all of these IBM, DigitalOcean, small and large players came. Right now, we have more than 20 cloud providers in market. But what is cloud providers? If we say we have 20 plus cloud providers, can we start our own data center? Can we set up our data center and start a cloud service? Yeah, we can. But managing a data center is not a piece of cake. You need years of experience. You need skilled labor, or you need skilled IT professionals, and you need skilled people to set up that network. There was a situation when Flipkart in 2014, they started their own operations with their own data center. And I don't know whether you remember or not, in 2014, Flipkart has their first big billion day. And I remember when I booked my, that was the situation when they were offering pen drivers at 1 rupees. So it was just burst on this Flipkart server, and it terribly failed. It was a news in business. I mean, all the business newspapers, and then Flipkart realized that they might not be able to, you know, manage their data center, or they are spending much more in managing data centers. So in 2018, they they tied up with Microsoft, and they started using some of their services, moving towards cloud, in specifically with Microsoft's infrastructure. So whenever we say cloud, it is somebody else's infrastructure that we are using. So our data is literally sitting on somebody else's computer. So so why people do that? Why people give our data to somebody else? Just to minimize the operations cost. As you have seen in previous slides, managing the data centers is a huge cost to companies. And companies with policies, government has many policies to give trust to customers. And when Flipkart moved some of their workload to cloud, companies like National Stock Exchange, even other companies like started moving some of the operations to the cloud. So is it like cloud is just for well-established companies? No. Even now, information age startup is taking more benefits from cloud. How? Because as I mentioned, when before cloud, any businessman who wanted to start a business had to invest a lot of in infrastructure. I could give an example here. Founder of GoIbibo, when he started, he told that he started with one server, but within a night, when GoIbibo start getting a huge amount of traffic, within a night he has to arrange few more servers and set up those. You can think of, if your traffic suddenly starts growing, how would you bring out, how would you manage more infrastructure, which is a kind of buying a new hardware and setting up it within time. And or let's say right now you have huge traffic, and tomorrow you have no traffic, or let's say you have less traffic, then you have an idle infrastructure that you are paying for, right? So cloud, or with cloud computing, you minimize that upfront cost for infrastructure. That was the first service of infrastructure as a service. And then today's startups are, I would say, even if you have one idea, you just start with an application. There are many companies like that have started with application, one Android app, like even the Garner.com is simple example of that. So we have Google giving Android Studio, we have Xcode from Apple, and some other like .NET from Microsoft. They are giving you a platform in order to build app ecosystem, and that's where your applications connect to cloud and manage all of the business or all of the user scenarios there. So that's a platform as a service that cloud is offering. And the third is, even new age startups don't have to build or reinvent the wheel with all of the CRM or lead management software or project management software. All of these softwares are already built. This is called as software as a service. And this is not just the case about the cloud. These are not only the three applications. You take any application that is right now, any application which is working on internet is a part of cloud computing or cloud ecosystem. And this is, and the cloud ecosystem is the main factor that boosts our startup ecosystem here. And that's where startups are now getting funding easily, because in today's information age, it's being more easy to start a business rather than in the industrial age. So, if it is like companies and startups, everyone is using cloud. So, what are the opportunities for you? Because we can think of any domain. Let's say you take finance, you take entertainment, you take social media, you say any domain, you take any domain, there is not a single company who is not using cloud, and the company who is not opting for cloud will die soon in future. There is a good example of uh, Terabyte, I think, which is company in Pune, who was before infrastructure company. Then when cloud came in, the company's growth started going down. So what are the opportunities for you? Because if everyone is using cloud, how can you take the benefit of it and build a good career in that scenario? So let me give you some numbers. I know you normally hate numbers, but just to give a wide idea why cloud is booming right now. So Google has announced to scale 40 million cloud experts in GCP. So GCP is nothing but Google Cloud Platform. So basically, that Google is offering for other companies who might not be able to set up or who might not be able to buy their own infrastructure. Not just Google, even Amazon is pledging to scale 29 million people in cloud technology by 2025. Accenture, which is most admired company in in tier 3 colleges where it is known as a mass recruiter, 71,000 cloud certified professionals are also going to be trained from Accenture. But with this, all of the training and upskilling, India is going to have a tremendous growth in the cloud domain, and we are expecting 2.2 million cloud professionals by 2025. But all these numbers, I know all these numbers will go when we see actual meaning of the cloud professional. But with all this number, I just wanted to convey that we are in India. India is going to be third largest pool of cloud talent. So any company, whether it's global company, whether it's going to be a domestic company, everyone is going to look for India when it comes to cloud computing or cloud computing talent. And not with all of this cloud computing training or skills, you can take the advantage of getting a better salary in your career or in your future endeavor. So this is just a number according to Glassdoor. Right now, I can tell you from my experience, the average salary for tier 3 guys who are working as a cloud developer in their first year of year of career. If you are working in Mumbai, the average salary is above this one seven. It's around seven. If you are working in Pune, this is around six. If you are working in Bangalore, this is around six. If you are in Delhi, the numbers might be up and down. But this is national average of the cloud computing, and this is a very good number because if you don't have any skill and uh, you were placed with just because of aptitude, then companies will offer package of, like, let's say Infosys is offering currently 3.75, Accenture is 3.75. But if you are not from tier 1 college or let's say top college, you will be not getting that much of higher salary. But with cloud computing, even if you are not experienced, you will get this amount of salary with the cloud computing. But enough about the cloud computing. So you might be thinking how to be a cloud engineer, right? If you are working as a cloud engineer, how you will be what will be the first steps to be a cloud engineer? So if there are going to be cloud providers, they will have learning platforms. So as I mentioned, Google Cloud Platform as a Google learning platform as well, where you can take the courses. If you want to go with the Google Cloud, take the Google Cloud courses. if you want to go with the AWS or Amazon, you can take the cloud courses for Amazon Web Apps, Amazon Web Services, and similar for Microsoft. But the main thing that differentiates you from other cloud is, are you certified enough to be a cloud practitioner or cloud engineer? So in order to certify it, you need to practice as you practice for your daily exams, for semester exams, or you practice for your CET, JE, whatever the exams you have taken. You might have practiced for that. But when you practice for cloud certifications, it's little different, because for normal exams, you might find questions, answers, or practice questions, question sets. But when it comes to cloud certifications, it's hard to find practice sets, because the examinations are designed in such a way that normally people forget once they clear the certification. But there are some platforms, and we will come to know what are those platforms. So once you, the first step is take the courses, second step is practice those exams, and learn the hands-on skills, and then get certified. So this is how the Google Cloud learning platform looks like. Similar to this one is the AWS Skill Builder. You can go and freely start learning the cloud. But when it comes to certification, because if you don't have a valid certification on this any cloud platform, you might be wondering, or anyone you want to provide your, I mean, anyone who look at your resume will be looking for a valid certification, right? And when we started our journey to look for to get certified, we were not able to get enough practice sets to look for to complete our certification, and that's why we build this quick skills. And this platform builds the and it's a bridge between the examinations and practice stages. So quick skills is just one stop practice platform for all of the cloud certifications, and whether it's a Google Cloud, whether it's a Microsoft, whether it's a uh, AWS or any other platform. So we are just getting started. We are a community of 15,000 people and growing, well funded. And it's not just about all of this. What we offer is, we are very clear with what certifications and what practice tests we offer, because all of those practice tests and hands-on cloud labs are built from the experience certified professionals. And yeah, just to give in why this is our platform, quick skills. But it's not just one platform, we have multiple offerings, and we can give you the head start in the cloud platform. So remember to go to the cloud certification courses, and once you are uh, familiar with any cloud, you can just start your cloud certification. But remember, once you have any even the fundamental certifications will work to get started in your cloud journey. So welcome to cloud computing, and that's yeah, thank you. So right now I'm open for any questions. You can post in chat, or you can, if you want to speak anything, I can ask host to unmute you. Okay. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Varun
So
asked me, yeah.
yeah. So thank you, Venkatesh, for such a articulated presentation.
Yes.
It was very helpful. My question is related to the students who are, going to pass out this year, or they are in final year. I mean, suppose the freshers who are just coming out of college, or who has just passed out last year. What cloud certification you recommend them to get into cloud and to learn the skill and then enter in the industry?
Sure, sure, definitely. So, looking at the current market, people are just looking. I mean, companies are looking at skills only. They are not looking at your, yeah, degree is first gate, but they are not looking for your colleges or your grades. So, in order to get started, what companies look for is fundamentals. Are your
Mhm.
fundamentals are clear with cloud computing?
Mhm.
So any fundamental certification for, let's say, for example, in AWS, they have cloud practitioner. It's the most basic fundamental certification, which can be completed by anyone who wants to start with their cloud journey in AWS.
Mhm.
Similarly, in Google Cloud, we have Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer. It's again, if you have your cloud computing fundamentals clear, then all of these cloud providers, even if you clear AWS certification, you know all of the cloud, even including Google Cloud, including Microsoft, because all of these vendors or providers are providing the same thing. They are giving you a server, right? And it's nothing like a CPU will different in here, and like i5 will be different for Google, or i5 will be different for AWS. It's not like that. It's just a web interface that will be different. So in order to get started, pick any fundamental certification, and that will be enough to get you started with your journey. Because even when I started in cloud, I had no cloud certification. I had no cloud certification. I was just started with normal Python, and back then, uh, the people who had the certification had much more advantage, or people don't have. So I would say pick any fundamental certification and get started with that.
Yeah. So, just a quick follow-up question: as a fresher or a newbie who is going to enter, or who is thinking to enter into cloud industry and learn the cloud skill, which of these, which one cloud technology vendor he or she should pick up? Because as you said, there are multiple cloud vendors: Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and then there are other smaller players. So which one should pick up to begin?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So what I would suggest, when the cloud, as I mentioned, AWS was the first mover, and it has the first mover advantage. But similarly, as a first mover, you might have some disadvantages as well, because when AWS came into picture, everyone started learning AWS only, and the market was saturated a few years back for AWS. But now, since many companies are opting for cloud, it's again open. There are some demands for AWS as well, and many major companies like who were like, even, I can not tell the name because it's like customer. So but there are major companies who are using AWS still. But I would suggest start with GCP or Azure, because since they were the next mover, they had the advantage of making experience better and organizing things in a good way. So when AWS started, they were first mover. But whatever the problems AWS was facing, Google and Azure had the opportunity to implement solution to those problems in their offering. So when we opted for AWS, there was some problem, and Google Cloud solved that. So who are going to be who is go- anyone who is going for Google Cloud, they had the advantage that they don't have that problem. So there are some opportunities in AWS as well, but I would suggest go with Azure or Google Cloud.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering.
Any question from attendees? Faizan, Samantha, Shreya, Varsha, Vishal. It's like it's going to be exclusive for you guys. Let me know any of the suggestions or any of the feedbacks you think. or any of the doubts and questions as
Uh, Please,
well.
guys, ask anything if you would like to know more about cloud, or if you want to understand how to begin in cloud, or what relevant skills, or anything if you want to understand anything.
Okay. So we will wait for 3 minutes more, and then if
Uh,
yeah, sure.
there are some questions in the chat Q&A section. If you could.
Yeah, I could not see any chat. Uh, I mean, no question in chat. I would just see wishing good afternoon, Sandy.
No, in the Q&A. So there is a one anonymous attendee who is asking, will Quick Skills provide me cloud computing courses? If yes, what about how much money I need to pay? So Quick Skills does not provide any kind of courses. This is a practice platform. And so if you are going for cloud certifications, you're going for some cloud courses, you can practice those certifications, practice those platform things on cloud Quick Skills. That's the platform we have right now. So we are not providing any kind of computing courses as such.
Yes. So just to repeat what Varun said, Quick Skills does not provide or offer any of own cloud certifications. Quick Skills is a platform to practice for cloud certification, which are offered by other cloud vendors like Google Cloud, AWS, or Azure. We do not, or Quick Skills does not provide any certification of their own. Okay.
Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. The enrollment or the creating account is free. You can go to Quick Skills websites and you can create your account totally free. And even you can start accessing free practice tests over there. I mean, a few practice tests, I mean, at least one free practice test is available for each certification. So you can go there, you can access that a free practice test, and then start understanding or start evaluating the content, and then you can move ahead. Okay, so
If everything has been answered and there are no questions, I think we can conclude the session.
yes, 3:45.
Yeah, sure. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining on Saturday. So I wish you a very good, happy weekend, and do explore. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.